Hello, Denise. Good morning.
Hi, Jem. Good morning.
There's two people. Should I admit them?
Okay, that's fine. You can admit them in.
Okay.
Here you go. What's going on? Oh, no. Hi, Tony. Hi, Kevin. We're just waiting for a few more people to hop in. I know it's a little earlier in the day. Mhm. Well, while I have you guys in here, did you guys have any specific questions before I hop into showing you guys some things? Let me see. Freezing secondary collections. I'm going to be sharing my screen. Let's share. Can you go over removing collections? Yes, I actually had that on my list to do today. Let me just scroll that. Can you guys let me know if you guys can see my screen? Because I'm just having to play around with Zoom today. Can I make this smaller? Can I do that? I see it. Okay, cool. Like phone companies. Okay, it won't matter if what type of company it is. So as long as it's a collection, we can definitely go over that. Let me minimize this. So the first thing that I would do, so give me, you know what, let me pull the chart back up. What is the name of the actual the actual collection agency? Like, what is the name that you're currently dealing with for a collection agency? Hmm. This is where I start off right here. Verizon. Okay. But is it Verizon? That's the collection agency because they should be the original creditor. What is the name of the collection agency, like the third party that ended up buying off that debt? Because what I end up doing first is I actually start off on, anytime it's a collection agency, I start off on MLS, consumeraccess.org. I'm gonna put this, I did put this in school in the group, but I'm not actually sure. Okay, so that's actually where you want to start off at. So for the purpose of this video or this recording, I'm just gonna pick a random collection agency name, one that I currently use. So once you pull up your actual credit report, you should be able to see the collection agency's name and then who the original creditor is. So that's what you want to start off doing first by pulling off a copy of your credit report with any credit reporting monitoring agency you're using. I use my FICO, actually I use my Score IQ. So that's the platform I use to pull up any credit report because they use the FICO scoring system. They're not showing you your Vantage score, they're using your FICO score, which is where the banks pull from. So we're gonna look up credit collection service. Let's say this is the name of the collection agency that's trying to collect this debt, right? So you're gonna put in the name, you're gonna put in these characters here, DU6KU. No match is found. And I can't remember credit collection. They had another name, credit collection service. Is it this one? Service. Okay. I can't remember which one it was, but let's say it's this one, right? Let's say you're living in Florida and you click here, right? And this is the name of the collection agency. What you're looking at is here under state and licenses. I'm trying to verify whether or not they're licensed within the state of Florida because that's where you live, right? So the fact that the only license that they have here is California, that is one way you're able to actually attack the collection agency, because why are you trying to collect an alleged debt from me and you're not licensed within my state, you know? I don't see Florida here as a licensed state for you guys to be able to obtain this debt. So the next step that I would do or take is that I know that I'm submitting a cease and desist letter. So basically a letter having them to stop communication with me. And knowing the fact that they're not licensed within my state, I go to ChatGPT next. Let me see. And because I know that I'm entitled to and I have rights as a consumer, let me pull this up. Pull this up. I'm gonna go to ChatGPT. So I'm gonna state to ChatGPT, create, there we go. Create me a dispute, or actually not a dispute letter, create me a cease and desist letter to credit, and this is going to be the name of your collection agency that you're fighting at the moment, the third party, okay? Letter to credit collection agency. Create me a cease and desist letter to credit collection, and also state that they are not licensed to collect this alleged debt from, and let's say whatever state you're living in, Florida, from Florida. This means to stop this means, because we know that we want them to cease communication with us directly and indirectly. Indirectly means they are communicating with you via your credit report. Directly means they're giving you a call, they're harassing you, they're texting you, they're emailing you. They are directly communicating with us. But indirectly communicating with us, you need to stop that too, because you're indirectly communicating with me via my credit report. So you want to make sure you input that into your dispute letter. So create me a cease and desist letter to stop or to credit collection agency, and also state that they are not licensed to collect this alleged debt from Florida. You need to also stop communicating with me directly and indirectly, meaning through my credit report. Okay. So once I have the basics that I want in here, the more information you can put in here, the better your dispute letter will become. Again, once you start leveraging actual laws, you can add those in there as well. But this is something really basic you could start with. And sometimes ChatGPT will add the law in here for you. So again, you're using this as an outline. So you would want to read through this, because whatever ChatGPT may throw in there may not resonate with you. So you just might delete it. So I'm writing to inform you that I'm aware of my rights under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and the Florida Consumer Collection Practices Act. According to my records, you have been attempting to collect an alleged debt from me, which I dispute and deny. Firstly, I demand you immediately cease and desist all further communication with me regarding this debt. Pursuant to XYZ, you are hereby notified that I am not responsible for that alleged debt, and I have the right to request verification of the debt. So I guess you can leave that part in here, that you're requesting the verification of the debt. I would delete this honestly, but this is just me, because I don't want any type of verification of this debt. Like, I just want you guys to all around stop communicating with me via my credit report. And I want you guys to keep in mind too, just because you remove this off your credit report, let's say that they deleted and removed this off your credit report, that does not mean that you still not owe this debt, because they may very well may sell this debt to another third party, and now that third party is not going to try and collect on this debt now. Okay, so you would basically rinse and repeat this process with the cease and desist letter. Okay, this includes any attempts to contact me through my credit report. Secondly, I have reason to believe that your agency is not licensed to collect debts in the state of Florida. And then they'll start throwing laws in here. So what I would do is basically get this letter, fix it up on a PDF or Word or whatever you may have, and I will send it directly to the actual collection agency. So you would not submit this on the CFPB or anything online. You would submit this through mail. So you would want to send it certified. You can either go to Letterstream if you do not like going to the post office. They have like an online platform. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Let me see. And if they're able to collect. So even if they're able to collect, let's say in your state, they are not required to be licensed within your state, I still submit that letter because a lot of the times they won't even know that they're not required to have a license. So sometimes they'll just stop ceasing in communication with you. I still send it. However, they're still violating your other rights, which is your rights to privacy, and you need to prove to me that I owe this debt. So at that point, if they're still coming after you over this debt, you want to request the original purchase agreement. The original purchase agreement is going to state who the original creditor is. So if you know that this original creditor was from who you listed, it was Verizon. You said it was a phone company. Let's say that on that original purchase agreement, you didn't see Verizon as the original creditor and it was a third party. You already won that because I never had, let's say it was with, there was another name on there for another collection agency. Let's say it was Credit Collection Services, right? For the original purchase agreement name for the original creditor. You never had a contract with this other third party. So your debt can be sold and sold and sold again to other third parties. So the purchase agreement is going to show basically that transaction history. So you always want to verify who the original creditor is because I never signed a contract with you guys. I never signed anything to bind me to this alleged debt. So that's how you would end up moving forward on that aspect. Um, Reggie, what about closed accounts, but they still keep reporting, especially as if it's still open? Okay, let me get back to you, RJ. Let me get back to that. So once you guys create the letter here, right? On ChatGPT, you're gonna go to Letterstream if you don't feel like driving your butts to the postal office, right? This is Letterstream here. You guys can actually create an account. It's free. You don't have to pay anything unless you send out your certified mail, and they have fees. Okay. The fees isn't all that much, or you can take yourself back to the post office and you can actually mail it there. But I would definitely send it certified with a green return receipt because they physically, the collection agency, once they receive your letter, they have to physically sign it, and the postal office is going to mail you back that green receipt showing that the collection agency signed that green receipt. So you're going to have their actual signature. So a lot of the times that works because you have a copy of that gets mailed back to you. Now, let me get back to my, ooh. My God, where's my chat, guys? Okay. So about closed accounts, but they're still reporting, especially if it's still open. So RJ, can you clarify a little bit more on this? I mean, you can also unmute yourself too. You guys can unmute yourselves and ask your question and clarify a little bit more. But from my experience, if they're closed accounts, I mean, did you reach out to the actual original creditor that's reporting this information as open, knowing that it's closed?
Yeah, I did. I opt out. Try to opt out. They try to say they can't do that, which by law they have to because they never provided full disclosures on any of these accounts. Matter of fact, I was disputing with the creditors from the beginning, and immediately once I did that, they immediately closed it, talking about, oh, we closed it. I said, no, no, no. I said, you guys were not supposed to close it when it was disputing. So they really violated every right of that part.
So is
And
this
so I
a
just
personal,
been a battle with them.
what kind of account is this?
You talking about Capital One, a car loan
So,
that's already charged off. So I already asked for a 1099-C. I'm waiting on an answer for that one. But they're really credit cards, really.
okay, but those are the closed accounts that you're saying that they're closed, but they were still reporting as open?
Yeah, they're closed. They just keep reporting.
Okay, and they say that that's what they're going to continue doing, even though that they're closed accounts?
Say that one more time.
So that when you called, let's say it was Capital One. So when you called them to verify whether this account was open or closed, they said they're still going to report this as open?
No, they're still gonna report it as closed. Like they're still showing that I still owe, which in reality I don't. But you know.
That's a little off because I mean that would still be considered like a charge off. Because if they're still reporting that you owe and they close the account, that's a little different. Honestly, I have not come across a client that's had that issue about closed accounts, but I'm trying to think of how I would go about that situation. I would get everything in writing, to be honest. So I wouldn't do any more conversations over the phone. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick. I personally would not take any more calls over the phone. I would put everything in writing, and depending on what they send back, I would submit that up onto either the BBB. If they're on there, are you familiar with the BBB?
Yeah, I tried that method and they come back with a um they come back
Did
with
you
it
verify?
as like,
Is
oh,
that
they're
with the
allowed to.
documentation?
Huh?
Is that with the documentation that you uploaded?
Uh, I don't even, you know what? I think at the time, I just think I reported them. I don't even think I added the documentation to the BBB, but they keep saying, I even put the codes in like, hey, woo do woo woo. You know, it says 15 USC 6802. It tells you that you have a right to opt out. And y'all still gonna tell me that that's not? That don't make sense. So when you opt out of the company, because they're supposed to send you those disclosures every month to give you that right. And they don't do none of that. When I even put it to the BB, they still have a right. I'm like, how? Y'all not making
Mm.
sense. Make it make sense.
Yeah, I would definitely go back to BBB. And upload again, once you actually submit your dispute to the actual creditor, whether it's to the credit reporting agency on the CFPB or the actual original creditor, whoever you send it to, make sure you send in your dispute. And once you get your response from them, that's when I would go back to the BBB because everything needs to be all documented. They need to see all supporting documents. We can't just throw out laws out there. Most of the time we can, depending on which account we're disputing, but they need to see proof, especially with an account like this. Does that make sense? You need
Yeah,
to
that
like
makes a
back.
lot of sense. I'll try that. I'll try that. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see, what about close it, especially. Okay, I received another packet for All-Star. This is not their account. Okay. Yes, I actually was just reviewing your question earlier. So you actually can ignore that. Ignore that from Upstart because you do not need to provide them anything. You can just go ahead and keep submitting this with the other credit bureaus that have not removed this. And the reason as to why, there's not a reason as to why one credit bureau is easier to remove than the other because everyone has its own policies. Like you may get a clean credit report with TransUnion first, and Equifax and Experian may give you a hard time, and you may not get your report cleaned with them for the next 3 months. It just varies. So if you're having a hard time again with, what is this, Upstart? So what is this, like a closed account? What kind of, is that I'm not familiar with Upstart. Is that like a
Yeah,
personal?
it's a personal loan, correct?
Okay. So yeah, if this is a personal loan, it's like a closed account. And let me see. We're saying no. And what have you done so far to dispute with the other two bureaus?
I just been sending the rounds that's been within the the actual can't even think of the name of it right now, but what the Bennett's have, what you purchased. I just sent
Mhm.
like the second round of disputes to all three bureaus, and it's just been that account's still been on the other two.
Okay, so when you submitted your dispute letter from the Magic Eraser group, course, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
and
that's my
they
yeah.
responded back that it was verified, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, did you go back to the section in the Magic Eraser course of the section where it says what to do if an account gets verified?
I did not. I always went straight from round one to round two.
Okay, I completely, let me share my screen real quick. Let me just share it real quick. Where the heck did I
Okay.
go? Da-na-na. Share. Let me know when you guys can see my screen. Okay, can you guys see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. Let me find, because I always have their course up. No matter, you guys see all my tabs looking crazy with Cornell Law. I'm in there for real. Okay, so what to do if an account comes back verified? There's like 6 videos in here that you could, and they're all pretty detailed. And I know that you really want to go section by section. So that's probably why you didn't see like you're going here, right? You're going one by one with the dispute letter templates.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of times you can definitely do that, but you want to scroll down just to see what other sections that they have that may help you. And that is something that you could do. What to do if an account comes back verified. You can do this after you submit. Let's say you go back up here and you submit a round 2. You can definitely, there's no right or wrong way of disputing. So it's all up to you and how you prefer to do it. So if you wanted to send in this dispute here for round 2, right? And you waited the 30 days and they verified it again. If you don't want to send round 3 for the dispute letter, you don't have to do that. You can go straight down after dispute letter number 2, and you can come down here on what to do if an account comes back verified. Because 9 out of 10 times, if they verified it the first time, they're gonna verify it again a lot of the times because that's what they like to do. So just so you're aware of what to do next when it's verified, I would definitely suggest coming into this section when you can and start watching these videos to see how you can amplify your dispute letter. Because again, these dispute letters, they're just a template. So again, they're not cookie cutter. Not every dispute letter is gonna be for or resonate with you. You want to add a little bit more of an amplified dispute or an aggressive dispute, and you can go ahead and understand what to do. You can ask them in that dispute letter, how did you verify this information? Who did you talk to? You want to be your own investigator. You want to know these things, because how are you verifying this information again? Let me know. That's how you'd want to attack this particular account.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. There was some things I wanted to show you guys. Let me see on my notes. And I think, I don't know if that person's in here. I wasn't sure who it was, but there was questions about freezing secondary credit agencies. Did you guys have questions about that? I really wanted to touch base on that real quick. Ooh, let me scroll down here. Where'd it go? So many videos up in here, Donna McKell, which is amazing because they really supply you guys with everything that you need to do. And again, guys, if you guys are having a hard time, and you're just getting overwhelmed, you don't have the time again to do this, I offer the Done For You credit repair services. You can schedule a free credit consult with me, and then we could just take a look to see what's going on your credit report and what needs to be removed. That's your personal. If you guys can see where the section is, because I know I'm not crazy. I know it's at the top. Am I passing it? Where is it? Let me see. So for now, because I feel like I have something opened. Entity name. Okay, I found it, y'all. I found it. It's been a long morning. Okay, so when you guys come here to the secondary reporting agencies, Dom and Mikkel already give you the main reporting agencies to opt out of. And all you're doing is providing your personal information. So you're providing your first name, your last name, and everything needs to match all across the board. So if your name does not match your driver's license, you're gonna have a hard time freezing your secondaries. You also need to provide your proof of address and your social security number. A lot of the times, they will not allow you to opt out of the secondaries unless you give them a call or you mail this documentation straight to them. They will definitely let you know. However, I always call them. If they're giving me a hard time with freezing a secondary online, I will call them and I'll ask them if there's anything that I could do over the phone to be able to opt out, and that way I don't have to mail anything to them directly. Now, These are the main ones that they provided, but I don't know if you guys went over that there's a full list of other credit reporting agencies that you may need to opt out of. So that's why maybe you guys are having a hard time disputing something and something's not coming off because they're able to verify it on another secondary agency. So I wanted to show this to you guys. This is on the CFPB. Again, this is, you guys have access to this on the Magic Eraser course. I think I actually have it pulled up in here. Give me, it's this one. Is it this one? No. Yep, this one. So this is the list of consumer reporting companies. This is for the secondaries that you may need to opt out of because again, Dama Mikhail only gave you the few main ones to opt out of, but it's up to you to do your due diligence to verify and make sure that whatever is reporting negatively on your credit report, whether it's an eviction, a repo, a bankruptcy, whatever, you need to figure out where they are reporting it. Let me scroll down here. So once you scroll down, it's going to tell you what type of, the name of the secondary. Oop, that's not it. Hold on. Scroll to the employment screening. Okay, so I'll tell you the type of things that they're reporting. So this is an employment screening, provides background screening services, XYZ. That's on Accurate. So you would need to opt out of Accurate or adpselect.com for any background services, right? So we're going to keep on going, because those are all for backgrounds. Now, this is for tenant screening. So if you have like an eviction or something or a background, this is where you would want to go. It tells you on here, this is CICreports.com. Conducts background screening services for landlords and residential real estate management companies, and information includes eviction and criminal background data. So if one of those, if you're fighting an eviction and you opted out of the main secondaries on that list that Dama Mikhail did, but you know you have an eviction, you want to make sure that you come here and you want to make sure that your eviction isn't reporting on this secondary credit reporting agency, because again, they're going to verify that information because you didn't opt out to block your information. I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Last, I know suppose every bill writer but when in the process. Okay. Let me answer Darnisha's question. Will the credit reporting agencies be able to access your info from third-party agencies if it is frozen? By third party, do you mean like secondaries here? Because this is what we're pertaining to. This is where they verify, the credit reporting agencies verify the information from these secondaries. Again, there's hundreds of secondaries. So if you don't opt out of them, or if you don't find your information, right? Or not that if you don't find information, if you don't know where it's reporting that negative item, like that repo or that bankruptcy or that eviction, and you don't opt out of it, that's how they keep verifying that information. But when they send you a letter back saying, hey, listen, like we verified this information, that's why you always want to ask, how did you verify it? Who did you speak to? And a lot of times they may provide you with that information, and that way you can figure out, hey, you know, they say, oh, I verified this information with Alonzo from CIC, what is it, CIC reports, right? The secondary. Now you know that you have to head over to this specific website and opt out of it and then dispute it again. So that way they can't verify that information. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. So Tony, no more FTC and C. So no, so I would definitely suggest that you guys do the CFPB and FTC reports. I'm just saying, like, if you submit a letter, I don't mail anything. Like, I don't personally go to the postal office to mail my disputes. I do everything online with the CFPB, okay? However, if you're sending a cease and desist letter to a collection agency, they're not a credit reporting agency, so you can't go to the CFPB and upload that dispute on there. I mean, I think there's a section that you can, but I don't do that on the CFPB. What I do is that I actually send that certified mail to them. So if I don't feel like I want to go to the post office, I'll go directly to LetterStream, and I can send that letter electronically to them, certified as well. And the fees is very low. So yes, you can still continue doing the FTC and the CFPB. Yes, I know you're supposed to freeze before getting credit cards, but when in the process? Okay, so by this you mean, okay, so by this, I think you're referring to when you're applying for credit for funding, Kevin, is that what you mean? Because these secondary credit reporting agencies, you freeze them before you start your disputing process, when you start removing negative items. Now for freezing, so you wouldn't do that. You would want to unfreeze if you know that you're applying for a bank. Let's say that you have your TransUnion frozen, and you're gonna go to Navy Federal, who pulls from the TransUnion side on the personal side, right? You want to make sure that you unfreeze TransUnion before you happen to apply for whatever auto loan, credit card, because what's gonna happen is that your application is not gonna go straight through to approval. They're gonna have to verify your information and make sure that it's you, because you have your, there's either a fraud alert, which you also wanna make sure that you get rid of. You wanna make sure there's no fraud alert when you start applying for things, because they're not gonna automatically push your application through. They have to verify it's you, because it could be identity theft. So make sure to remove the fraud alert. And you also unfreeze, because they will not be able to pull your credit score off TransUnion because you have it frozen. Now, if you're talking about the hacks when it comes down to like Apple or whatever Dom and Mikkel had talked about, you would want to follow their prompts in the Magic Eraser course. So you would basically pre-approve yourself for whatever credit card you're applying for, right? And if you like what you see and you get an approval or an XYZ percent, you would want to now hold off on clicking submit. You would go to TransUnion to freeze your account, so that way you don't get that hard inquiry. It's only for certain plays. And I can't remember which one it was, but I think it was the Apple Card or the Goldman Sachs. So basically, yes, have it frozen for the Goldman Sachs or the Apple Play. You would have it frozen, apply, see if you get pre-approved, or if you like what you see before you hit apply, you're gonna go back and make sure that you keep that frozen, so that way you don't get that hard inquiry. Tony, so the first, second, third, or fourth letter, we can use online using the CFPB. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your first, second, third, fourth, it could be all submitted on the CFPB. You don't have to mail the letters. That's really a personal preference. You could upload it on the CFPB, and you could also mail them if you wanted to. You could do both. I've heard of people uploading it to the CFPB and then submitting it via mail about a day or two later directly to the credit reporting agency. So again, it's all a preference. So writing it back to, let me cut this out real quick. And again, you guys can always unmute yourselves if you have any questions, let me know. So again, this is the secondary credit reporting agencies on the CFPB. This is CoreLogic. They collect and report landlord-tenant actions such as prior evictions, address history, public background check, XYZ. So make sure that you go through this is like a whole, look at how many pages there are. 35 pages. And they're all telling you where you need to go to and what type of information is being reported to that secondary. So make sure you check in here and opt out of it, so that way when you start disputing negative items, you don't get verified for it, okay? And I also wanted to show you guys that I was able to upload that, dang, what did I call it? I think I called it cheat sheet. So I uploaded a document in school, and again, you guys need to utilize the search engine up here if you guys have any questions, because what question you may have asked, someone else may have already answered it for you, or you can look at the comments as well, okay? So we have a cheat sheet here for loss pertaining to negative items. I just posted this recently, and this is basically a cheat sheet that I'm putting together for myself when it comes down to certain laws. So if you guys weren't in the other live Q&A, this is like the basic go-tos that I go to when I start disputing any negative item, because consumers have a right to privacy. 15 U.S. Code 1681A4. You can use that in your dispute letter. We also have 602 congressional findings and statement of purpose. And basically that's related to permissible purpose. Like if you gave them written consent to furnish this information. No, you didn't. So that's the law that you use. And 15 US Code 1681C, information excluded from credit reports or consumer reports. If you guys didn't know, you guys are gonna know today. Let me see, credit cards. I wanna make sure I'm not missing any question, guys. So as for information that's excluded on an actual credit report, that's a big one because a lot of people miss this. And I use this in my disputes. It tells you here as a law, information that should be excluded from consumer reports, bankruptcies, right? Accounts placed for collections, name and addresses, telephone numbers. Listen, it says it all here, everything that should be excluded. So why is it that there's so much information being reported on my credit report when this is clearly stating it should be excluded, right? Let me know if y'all picking up what I'm putting down. Let's see. Screen sharing, come on. Do you guys have any other questions from that? I'm trying to get back to my screen here. Hold on. There we go. But yeah, guys, again, I'll be doing live Q&As every Wednesday at 1:30. So this is going to be a continuous thing. If you guys need any help, any other time that I'm not on live, again, you guys can always shoot me a DM. I'm always offering the Done For You credit report services for the free credit consults. And then you guys always can utilize that search bar at the top. That way you guys can type in like late payments, collections, and you guys also have access to my cheat sheet as well when it comes down to disputing with laws that I like to use as well. But you sure nobody got any more questions? You guys have access to me right now. Let's see. Freeze, opt out, then send out letters? Yes. So the process would be updating your personal information first. So you would update your name, exactly how it is on your driver's license. You make sure that you remove any old addresses. There shouldn't be multiple addresses being reported on your credit report. So it should be one address, and that's the address that's reporting on your driver's license. Everything should match all across the board, okay? And then after you do that and you update that personal information, I would definitely start freezing and freezing out of the secondary credit reporting agencies. And then you can start disputing, okay? Did I answer your question, Kevin? Sorry, I have the munchies. Well, if anyone has any more questions, let me know. Unmute yourself now or forever hold your peace. Perfect. Perfect. Well, I appreciate you guys hopping on. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off if anyone else doesn't have any other questions. Again, you guys need to utilize that search engine in the midst that I'm not able to respond back quickly. But I will see you guys next week.